win those two. And we welcome you inside Atlanta Silverbacks Park on a beautiful Saturday evening here in Atlanta, Georgia. Tonight, the NPSL home opener for the Silverbacks as they host the Myrtle Beach Mutiny. And hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining us. With this guy, John Nelson, I'm Justin Hanover. It's become a bit of a broken record of sorts the last few years at the end of seasons. What is the fate of this Atlanta Silverback franchise? It appeared not so good around 6 months ago. The NASL team folded, couldn't find an owner. Suddenly, though, John, a couple of gentlemen stepped up. NPSL came a-calling, and we've got a team, and we're alive and kicking right now.
One of the toughest conferences and one of the toughest regions in the NPSL, and you're seeing the benefits of the first 3 games. A bit of a slow start by their own admission, but 2-0-1 versus 2-0-1. 3 teams at the top of the ladder tied with 7 points. 2 of them going at it tonight. And how do you assemble a team on the fly? Ask GM Fode Dollar. He's been able to do it so far. After that slow start, chemistry starting to come along. 5 home games in the span of 3 weeks should tell the tale here in the conference.
And Fode Dollar, we should get him at the half, and we'll pick his brain. Some unbelievable talent he brought in here. Coach Silva, a former Silverback product, has done a professional, phenomenal job, and there's a lot of talent. 2-0-1, they got things together early on. They're clicking a bit. Somebody from Brazil and Pedro Polaz and others, John, very talented young men here in the fold.
You got new guard, you got old guard. You mentioned Pedro Polaz, with 2 goals coming out of the midfield. Familiar name on the back line, Mitch Garcia, and he's been keeping things solid for that back 4 as well. Has put a ball in the net.
They're clicking a bit. Somebody from Brazil and Pedro Polaz and others, John, very talented young men here in the fold.
You got new guard, you got old guard. You mentioned Pedro Polaz, with 2 goals coming out of the midfield. Familiar name on the back line, Mitch Garcia, and he's been keeping things solid for that back 4 as well. Has put a ball in the net so far this year. Then you add guys like Bryce Billington, who's on the roster as one of the keepers. There's some other guys, familiar last names on the roster as well. And, it's going to be interesting to see once again how chemistry goes and how all the new guard is meshing with the old guard. Remember, after tonight, 4 more home games, 5 home games in a 3-week stretch should tell the tale here in conference.
It's going to tell a big tale. A couple of teams in first place right now, 3 huge points on the line. Myrtle Beach comes in, John. 2-0-1, as you mentioned, almost perfect, and a huge win on the road at the Revolution, just down the road in Conyers, 4-0, just 48 hours ago. They've got some offensive talent.
And Wingate University is the key. We'll get into Wingate as we go as well. The 2 big names, Axel Jewell and Jonander Ibaranda. We're just going to call him Jonander because it takes about a half hour to get his full name out. But these 2 guys, they're going to be at the front of the offense for the Mutiny. They have put a lot of balls in the net over the last year and a half. Those are the 2 guys that they're going to have to pin down from the Silverbacks' perspective defensively to keep the Mutiny off the score sheet.
And Atlanta's yet to give up a goal in the run of play, just that penalty in the 94th or so minute.
Hopefully partner hasn't jinxed him with that statement.
We'll see what gives tonight. Offense against defense. Moments away from lineups and kickoff, a battle of undefeated first-place teams, and it's coming up next. And welcome back at Silverbacks Park. John Nelson, Justin Hanover, and a whole lot of red smoke. The Atlanta Ultras, John, are going wild, and this place is, well, let's just say red.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see just how long this red smoke that the Ultras have unleashed on Silverbacks Park is going to hang over the park. First home game of the year, and we might be a little delayed.
Let's just say we may not be able to see the pitch that well right about now.
Remind you of the fog game with the Eagles
and
the Bears?
Yes, the Bears and the Eagles, and Cunningham throwing 90-yard punts or whatever he did that day. So welcome back here to the park, and we welcome in all the Myrtle Beach folks at the Bull and Bush, your official viewing party. Welcome in here on AtlantaSilverbacksFC.com.
What you can see currently at your official viewing party.
What you can see is, well, at least a good crowd. And we're going to take a break here for the national anthem, and play will get underway in a matter of moments. So let's send it to Laura Taylor and the PA announcer. Very well done, as we are moments away from the home opener here between the Silverbacks and Mutiny. John, let's talk about the starting lineups. We'll take a look first at the visitors as they come in also 2-0-1 off that 4-0 win at the Revolution.
Head coach Kyle Russell brings out a 4-4-2 for the Mutiny this time. The back line looks like it's going to be a combination of Poole, Hutchings, Burrows, and Fidel. Midfield, Arambola, Osborne dropping back, De La Cueva and Henderson, your captain up front, John Ander and Jewell. So going from back to front, it'll be Teepin in net, number one. Your back line, 3, 8, 24, and 5. Your midfield, 17, 20, 13, and 16. And up front, 12 and 10.
And you mentioned Arambola, the local product, local Myrtle Beach kid, doing some damage here in the NPSL. You see the referees on the screen there. Brandon Adams leading the way. We'll get to the assistants in the fourth as well. But, John, let's take a look at the Silverbacks, who also come in through 3 games with 7 points.
Looks like it's going to be a 4-3-3 this time around for the Silverbacks. On the backside, it's going to be Bangura, Garcia, Injai, Resendez. In the midfield, it's going to be Lansana, Polaz, and it's going to be Abu Tami. Up front, it's going to be Diwa, Mora, and Obatola.
And you see a couple of guys there, very well decorated. Obatola played with the Portland Timbers for a year. Abu Tami has played on San Jose Earthquakes. A lot of guys played in Europe. On the bench, we have a guy, John, that played 5 years in the Russian Professional League, and he's not even starting in Georgi Kalu. So you see the amount of talent on this Silverback team. There's a lot of it.
And when we talked about it in the open, how are you going to mesh from scratch? And we've seen that there is a bit of a growth curve. And when you get into a lot of games in a short period of time that we're going to see with the Silverbacks, what we're going to see with this particular conference. How's your depth? That's going to be the biggest question here in the heat of the schedule and in the heat in the South. So how did the Silverbacks respond in this stretch? That's going to be interesting. How did the Mutiny respond? That's interesting as well.
And if we say it's about 88, 89 degrees, when you throw in the firebombing over there,
yeah, really?
that raises it, what, about 3 or 4?
It's going to be 137
on the turf. Right.
On the turf.
So we get ready to get underway. The Silverbacks wearing the red. Ahmed Kante in goal doing some flips. The Mutiny in white. Both teams, as we've mentioned already ad nauseum, have played 3 matches, 2-0-1. Carolina today fell against Tobacco Road 2-1. So Carolina's now played 5 matches. They're tied with 7 points with both of these teams as well. FC Carolina Discoveries have played 5 matches. They have 5 points. Tobacco Road, who won today, is a point ahead of them with 6. And the Georgia Revolution now at 1-4 with 3 points on the bottom. I mentioned Brandon Adams, the center, Benjamin Thiessen, AR1, Jordan Wright, AR2, and James Porter is the 4th official. Obatola and Polez, and we are underway. The 2016 home season for the Silverbacks. Johnny Resendiz. Johnny's been a surprise. Not really expected to be getting a lot of time, but Johnny's impressed immensely so far. There's Bangura. A little bit too strong, played in the back there by the Mutiny, and they'll go all the way back to Teepin, the University of Charleston, West Virginia grad. Now the goalkeeper coach at Coastal Carolina.
Quick quiz, nickname for Coastal Carolina?
The Chanticleers.
Attaboy.
Funny thing is, people probably thought we sort of fixed that in the beginning. I am just that smart, though.
And equally modest in the first home game of the year.
So here's Resendiz. Looking for Joao Johanning, who's been brilliant in the early going. Polez beaten off the ball. Ross Henderson, the leader and captain of this team, winning that forward. Mutiny looking for their first attack. Here's John Ander. Trying to get around Resendiz. Good play by Johnny, poking it out of bounds. We will talk a lot about Ibarando. Leading the way with 3 goals, scored 1 in the Open Cup, tough loss, and extra time against the Charlotte Eagles 3-2 on a penalty in the 110th minute. John Ander pretty much scores a goal a match. Reigning Mitre Golden Boot winner.
We'd mentioned the connection with Wingate University, 2015 schedule. John Ander, 11 goals, 4 assists. Part of the 3 active players that are on the Wingate squad. Axel Jewell being one of the others.
You see Teepin already, not afraid to come out, be a little bit of a keeper sweeper here. As Johanning trying to go forward. Minute number 3. Garcia. Mitch has been very good so far. Played a couple of matches with the NASL version back a couple of years ago. Johanning. Good first touch. Here's Abu Tami. Abu, a very experienced player, had some problems with his eyes, but he said it's getting much better, and he's almost at full strength. Expect a lot, John, from this midfield. Whoever's in there, if it's Diwa coming back or Abu Tami or Pedro Polez, this midfield, I think, can be as good as any in the NPSL.
And we've seen that with the early numbers that they've been putting in the GF column in just even 3 matches.
Obatola with some crafty moves with those yellow shoes. Gabriel scored a goal in the friendly we had here against a local team in an absolute driving rainstorm about a month ago. Brutal for 15 minutes on this pitch. A lot of red jerseys back, and Resendiz with a good tackle. Conte had some shoulder issues, missed the first couple of matches. Bryce Billington, very formidable, backing him up. Ahmed, though, is the #1 keeper on this team.
And in talking to him this week, he thinks that he's turning a corner, getting back to it. It's all in the stretching. It's all in the rehab. So he's back on the mend. Not quite 100%, but you know that it's going to take a lot to keep him from between the sticks.
22-year-old from Dakar, born there, played a lot in Argentina. Moved to New York at about age 16. These guys are young, John, but there's a lot of experience and a lot of miles traveling alone to Europe and Brazil, going forward to the Mutiny. Brima, well done by Njai. You see, though, what Myrtle Beach has. They can quickly attack you, and if you fall asleep in the back, they've got the offenses. They pulled all the way up front with Poole, the UNC Asheville product.
Not afraid to overlap, and you've seen what Jewell likes to do with the ball when he's in possession of it. But they'll send a lot of folks forward and drop a lot of folks back just as quickly if they need to.
And Poole, an NPSL top 11 from Charlotte. Njai with a good win. Obatola plays it back. Here's Resendez. Joa. Diwa with amazing skill set, beating a man one-on-one. Douglas played in Sweden in their top division. Obatola comes in looking for that run going out, not successful, and the Mutiny take over. Here's Jewell, dispossessed. Diwa looks to switch. Polez on the overlap. A lot of room here now on this left side for Jewell. Axel from Newcastle, England.
Tried to go for the gate that time. Arambula was behind him, but the ball ends up turned over.
And you see Arambula wearing 17, normally wearing 7, but that jersey was not available tonight. Both teams, by the way, wearing Capelli, the official apparel supplier for the 2016 Atlanta Silverbacks.
And the NPSL.
Capelli well represented on this pitch tonight. Still 0-0 as we get into minute number 7. Feeling out process early on.
Well, when you've got these two teams at the top of the ladder and they both know that if there's a 3-point decision tonight, that gives them the inside track for the conference title on that top seed going into the playoffs. You're going to have feeling out for the first quarter pole or so.
And it's only a 10-match season. It's not MLS, it's not NASL, and a strong move going forward. And I believe we're going to have our first card as Bangura came in pretty hard. Adnan, one of the veterans on this squad.
And to your point, yes, it's a 10-game sprint in this particular conference, but there are other conferences like out west in the NPSL. They'll play 14, 16 games. They'll play crossovers. Right. So the amount of games in the schedule, there's your other look at it.
And I've not seen a card yet come out. So
I think that's probably warning of warnings there.
Yes.
So here it's a sprint, other divisions not so much, so there really isn't a whole lot of room for error.
That's not a bad ball put in. And that'll result in the goal kick. And we just mentioned Adnan Bangura. You may have remembered from last year's team, Abdul Bangura, who is the brother of Adnan. Abdul would have been a key cog on the back line. He's got a meniscus injury, had surgery, and is currently recovering. So one of the captains in Abdul, not able to play tonight, unfortunately. But, John, they need him. We saw last year on the NASL level how much of a key cog he became with all the injuries and cards that came out.
And when you have that kind of experience, especially here at the NPSL level with folks who have the reps at MLS, have the reps in the NASL, to have that and to have that depth as you're going further down, it's going to be huge, especially when you get to, in this conference game, 9, 10, and beyond.
Garcia serves it in, looking for Obatola, headed out. Resendez, the turf monster, got Johnny a bit there. And it'll be a throw for Atlanta. I like the way Coach Silva has Obatola and some others coming in, and the midfielders are sort of going out to try and catch the defenders coming in with the forwards. Quiet start for Pedro Polez, dispossessed a couple of times early on. And
you figured that there were going to be a couple of players on both sides that had the big watches and the big bullseyes, and that was a close call there.
Conte has a little Joe Nasco in him, I think. Not afraid to come out and be the sheriff back there.
So do we call Conte the deputy?
Yes. And we've got the police officer in Injai, according to Fode Dalla. Joe Nasco, by the way, a coach now, I believe a goalkeeper coach on the college level, had that gruesome injury last year in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Great player. What a great story. NASL best 11 here with Atlanta. And Joanning not able to save that. We'll see a lot of skill on the flanks, though, in Joao and Diwa on the other side. If they ever get one-on-ones, John, those guys have the green light to just go at them.
And remember what we talk about with overlaps. Be able to press, find your spot, and don't be afraid to shoot.
I think you see Atlanta starting to get into their game a bit. You see them starting to get a little real estate, pushing the field. A couple of nice defensive plays, though, by Myrtle Beach, and now they go forward and long. Here's Jewel. And Axel with a little shrug of the shoulders, upset with himself.
Just lost the handle.
Good crowd here on a Saturday night. Right around 2,000 it would appear. Most on this side, though. You see the cameras, and they're facing the side where the sun's supposed to be on. So those are the less populated folks over there. Let's put it that way. But
Shade
on this side,
first.
Yes. I will say, though, very comfortable as the sun has made its way down. Here's Bangura. Adnan led the reserve squad last year in goals, despite being a holding midfielder and forced into the back line today. That's not a bad ball, but there's Conte coming off the line.
And one thing we haven't gotten into as we're in the middle of the 11th minute for Myrtle Beach, playing on this surface, getting adjusted to it, because when you only do drills 30, 45 minutes ahead of time, this can be a surface that takes some getting used to if you're a visiting squad. So how does Myrtle Beach put their foot on the gas, use the clutch, work the brake? That's going to be interesting to see how long it takes for them to get adjusted to playing here at Silverbacks Park.
Now, with that said, Ashley Booth Field, their home field, back in 2013, did convert from natural grass to field turf. So to be at least training, even if it's a different type of a turf, certainly helps. You get the similar spikes. You know how to handle the speed a little bit better. Nil-nil, minute number 12. Best Buy Soccer, the exclusive sponsor of your Atlanta Silverbacks. Be with us for all 5 matches here in June. John and I will be here, and hopefully we'll get a 6th match, if not a 7th match. Trying to learn the whole playoff system, not used to this NPSL system, as a ton of cars come flooding in. Many thanks, though, to Pat Piscatelli of Myrtle Beach for really explaining some NPSL clerical work and telling me about the team and really keeping me up to speed with the visitors. And Brandon Adams signals off the Silverback, and they're going to go quick. Again, Johnny Resendez, very impressive. The 22-year-old went to Mexico and played there. Things didn't work out. We spoke to him yesterday, and Johnny just thought maybe he went a little bit too young and raw, and he should have waited a little while longer.
Just thought he should go down, maybe get some work, and it didn't turn out the way that he thought it would. But you've seen how, and I guess we'll just use the word pesky for right now, Resendez is defensively, not afraid to use the hand in the back.
Silverbacks attacking on the left flank. Looking for the handball and not getting it. Plenty of room here now for Jewel. Jewel's got his mate and best friend and roommate in Ibarando on the left. He goes to John Ander. Low cross. Njai, well done. And a lot of room going forward now for Diwa. Saying, come to me, fellas. Obatola, the former Timber. Known as OJ. Good physical play early on by both sides. The head coach, by the way, you mentioned it, Kyle Russell, first year with the squad. From Chicago, though second home in Myrtle Beach, 9 years. He's a Coastal Carolina associate head coach. A lot of connections. You see the pipelines in the NPSL.
Yep.
A lot of guys from Wingate. You see the Coastal Carolina connection, and it all makes sense. See some South Carolina young men. The difference here with the Silverbacks is that it's a new team really without college connections.
Yep.
So we're almost the abnormal squad.
And when you have, to the point that we made in the pregame, when you have a general manager like Fode Dollar who has those connections and they're worldwide connections.
Yes.
That you can build something from scratch and kind of build something on the fly, and we've seen the early results.
Bangura. Fight from John Ander. Here's Garcia, the lefty. Injai trying to be closed down by Jewell. Well done, gets it over to Mitch on that left side. And they have a good switch if they want it. Diwa. Good defending, and now going forward. Myrtle Beach at 2-on-4, and Conte no problem gobbling that one in.
Once again, to the point that we already knew, Myrtle Beach more than happy to just go running down. If they think that they've got an opportunity and they've got an angle, they're going to take a shot.
And they've got a couple of studs they're confident with. There's no doubt about that with John Ander and Axel Jewell, as they should be. They've scored numerous goals in Wingate. They've scored already a bunch here in the first 3 matches. No reason not to be confident with those guys. Here's Polez. A little bit of room for Pedro.
To your point, Jewell in his junior year at Wingate, 5 goals, 9 assists. Comes out of the blocks in July last year in his first match. Player of the week in the NPSL.
It's quite an accomplishment. Pedro Polez just did that here with the Silverbacks. Looking for the switch. Here's Poole, not able to handle that. Tough pass going across for the junior at UNC Asheville. I'm not sure what Joao was putting his arms up. He really got the best of that tackle.
Joao thinking he got a push in the back on the joust, chasing after the ball.
Arambula saying to the ref, how do you not see that? Wanting the foul, and I'll tell you what, he may have been right. Joe Anning really got a lot of leg in there. Thanks for joining us here on AtlantaSilverbacksFC.com.
Let's take another
a look at this replay. Heavy touch, and, well, that's why you have shin guards, partner. I think Joao got a little leg in there. Good stuff from Rich Vogan, Mel Vogan, the whole ATP crew. Kevin and Wes.
And the issue came on the tumble after the tackle. Trying to plant the left leg, it kind of collapsed under him. And he didn't land properly. So it's kind of twisted, and that's what they're looking at down there on the pitch.
At the half, we should get, once again, the general manager, Fode Dalla. Ask him how we put together this squad. We'll really try and see. And Fode is a player agent by trade, a coach as well. Great at those two. Now he's got a third hat here as the general manager of the Silverbacks. Really the architect of this team.
Okay, that's definitely good to see there.
So Poole does get up. And he looks to be all right.
All right, now, here's what happened, right? You saw the plant with the left leg after he went in for the tackle.
And that's the most dangerous. That's when you start, hearing about the ACLs and the MCLs when you're actually, he had contact there, but when you hit the ground more so. So he'll walk off. I would assume Poole will be all right. We'll obviously see in a matter of moments. The Mutiny on a 5-game road trip. 3 more after this game. They'll be at Tobacco Road next Friday at WakeMed to face the Railhawks Wednesday on the 15th. And 3 days later, they'll be at FC Carolina Discoveries. They'll play the final 3 matches back at home, which will include the Silverbacks. You talk about that match having some meaning potentially. That could be for all the marbles here, at least in the regular season.
The regular season, the way it usually translates, it's 1 and 2 make it out of conference into playoff crossovers.
Minute number 20, we'll see a little playback from John Ander, and here we go again.
And we know what scheduling can do. We know what these road trips can do because we found out the Silverbacks with that draw at Tobacco Road, 6-hour drive up, get out of the van, play.
Not easy. Not easy at all. That's what this Myrtle Beach team did, though, at Conyers 2 nights ago. Drove straight there. Jewell, good ball going the other way. Big overlap coming, not recognized. They play back on this side. And well done by Joanning. Poole could not get on. Joao with a good win. And that'll set up the Resendez throw. OJ double team, still possessing. Diwa over to Garcia. Here's Mitch. Polez looking to turn. Somebody's taken down. Ref says play on. Still continuing to fight. Pedro in possession. Gets in the box. Back out to Joanning, and he puts it up top. There you see what Pedro can do. The fight, John. 3 guys around him, still in possession, just didn't have the opening.
And you're also seeing in the 21st minute what the officials are going to allow so far, and they're going to let them play.
Brandon Adams has let them play for sure, as we see another Mutiny player down on the ground. Battle of attrition right here. And it looks like we're going to have a substitution. And that is Poole, so he's not going to be able to, to go, it appears. Some bad luck. He gets a hug from Obatola as he makes his way out, so we'll see the first substitution here at the park in the 2016 season. That's going to hurt, John. You've got a guy, like I said, an NPSL top 11, a guy from the back that will venture forward. Not somebody you want to lose in the 22nd minute.
And he's crashing on that left leg, too, as he's working his way over to the bench.
And we'll see number 27, Garrett Bridgewater.
Yep.
Another Wingate product.
That's the 3rd one.
Bangura safely just plays it away to live another day. Appreciate you joining us on AtlantaSilverbacksFC.com. John Nelson, Justin Hanover. A matchup for first place. Long cross. Conte coming out and not able to pick it up, but there's Johnny on the spot once again. First touch from Bridgewater. And Tommy's going to get fouled. Maybe the best opportunity of the match right there. Conte now limping a little bit. Ahmed sort of holding his knee.
Turned that one into a bit of a howler going up for it.
Trying to stretch out that leg, pull it up. Well, he'll get a touch immediately on this.
Let's see what he can do with that left. Didn't do a whole lot.
And he gets a little bit lucky to get it over to Garcia, who loses it. White jerseys coming forward, looking for the first of the match. Garcia gets beat on that right side. And not a great ball across. Can they keep possession? They do. Here's Arambula. Polez defending. And Arambula called for that foul.
A little push in the back, a little headlock on both sides.
cheeky move by Pedro. Diwa on that left side. Well, that's Lansana, pardon me.
And just larger bodies over there for the Mutiny, getting Lansana off the ball.
Diwa more in a midfielder position.
Wow.
Big collision by the bench. Physical play early on, John. Minute number 25. We've seen 3 guys, if not more, already down on the turf.
We've seen what the officiating crew's going to let go so far. There's your clearance. And the joust and the move right there.
And I believe that's Lansana. Abraham, the holding midfielder, normally from Liberia. A true 6. Abu Tommy looking unconcerned. If you just joined us, welcome. Minute number 26, still 0-0. Mutiny have just forced to make one substitution.
One
Hayden
more look.
Poole.
Going for the joust. And it looked like a shoulder to turn the body around, and he just landed flat.
I don't think there was any
Off of
intent
that
at all. I
joust.
think it's just
No.
one of those, you expose your body
Yep.
and you played physical
You
and
hit an
you fell down.
angle. You hit an angle and you fall down. When you're elevated like that and your body's exposed, there's a whole lot going on. So let's see what they're looking at over there. No movement yet.
You see right there how appropriate at urgent care of Peachtree local board certified ER doctors, ready to give you the attention you deserve and quality health care you need. They may be busy, John.
They have been.
After this match.
Up and walking, that's a good sign.
And again, not many fouls called on these hard plays. And I'm not insinuating necessarily, John, they are fouls.
No.
But eventually frustrations will
Yes.
boil over.
Yes.
And the referee's got to at some point just make sure he calms it down if that comes to fruition that way. You always have to know as a ref the temperature of the match.
Yep.
Ebrima. They'll reset. Injai will come over as we are in minute number 28. Bangura looks to go long, a little bit too long. So far, both back lines very stellar, holding that rope. Resendez. And Joa gets it over to Polez with some room. Obitola back to Pedro. And a little touch knocks him down, so from about 37, 38 yards out, we'll see a free kick.
A lot of good work in traffic that time by both Mora and Polaz. But you also noticed that there were 3 white kits that collapsed around Pedro the second that he got the ball.
Yes, they're learning, and there's no way anybody can know a lot about the Silverback team. There's just not a lot of video, not a lot of press about it. But as you play in these matches, John, you'll quickly see a guy like Pedro or the moves from Joao there or Douglas Diwa, what these guys have. Abu Tommy. And Lansana just can't run that one down.
Abu Tabi tried to put some backspin on it to keep it in. Try to get some work off the goal line and the back line there for the Silverbacks, but didn't work as we're heading to minute number 30.
We haven't seen a goal. We haven't really even seen a ton of glorious opportunities, but you do see, I think, the potential of both sides. That you do have the feeling there is at least a goal in this match.
Mm-hmm. Both teams are too entirely talented offensively for this to be a 0-0 game by the time we get to its conclusion.
By tweeting your best selfies to hashtag Spread the Fever. Tweet your best selfies to hashtag Spread the Fever.
Not a great play by Joel. No reason to put your arms out at all.
A signed jersey or a scarf or a bag.
Bridgewater on the win. It's a silly play. Free kick from midfield. You see Curvin Antonio Kenton Fidel, the Costa Rican national on the under-20 squad. New to the team. Very dangerous in the back. Has a little Rashawn McKenzie in him, John.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have the first corner, I believe, of the match off of the Bangura head.
Senior squad for Costa Rica today in a goalless draw with Paraguay in the USA group.
Which is good, I think.
If you're a fan of the Stars and Stripes, the answer is yes.
After a underachieving result last night, 2-0 against Colombia.
That's a rather kind word.
The corner, left-footed in-swinger. Headed out by Abrima. Here's Njai. The policeman gets over. Oh, Conte not coming out. Lucky that didn't bounce another way. You see Mitch Garcia. You talk about a well-traveled man, John. Mitch has played in pretty much every country there is.
All 207?
Well, I don't think he played in Nigeria.
Okay.
But no, Mitch was in Chile and really has played all over. Serbia, Australia, Poland. Lilburn native. He's going to get married soon. Mazel tov to him. August 4th, I believe, is the date. Now, if this season goes long.
That's going to be right in there. He might not be in as much of the planning as he is. But if he's a smart man, he defers.
Yes, yes. We've both learned that.
Uh-huh.
Njai with some room. Obatola. Fidel pops it up, and Resendez
call Resendez for over the back on that one.
It's a heck of a play. Really, Johnny can get up.
Mm-hmm. Johnny got hops. That's not in dispute.
Bridgewater directing traffic, looking to send the long one with that left foot.
Missed everybody.
Ahmeth looks to be okay before stretching that leg after a hit.
You see what Conte wants to do. Wants to send the long launch and have the guys run underneath it. Almost a very Leicester City way of trying to work something in transition.
Worked pretty well for them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it appears they'll be losing some talent.
If Vardy Smarty stays.
It's easy for you to say with his checkbook. Here's Bridgewater going forward. White jerseys on the attack. Good ball in the middle as Dewall falls down. Here's trouble, and put upstairs and wide by John Ander. Best opportunity of the match as he just sort of kept that a little near post too much.
You saw how dangerous Myrtle Beach can be in transition.
Dewall slipped, and that really created the opening.
3-on-2 at that point. John Ander pulled the trigger, just caught it with the outside of his foot to send it high and wide.
You don't want to give him too many opportunities.
No.
He will cash in on one of those at some point.
Correct.
Up top to Gabriel again. Well done by this back line in white. Nothing yet at all in the box offensively for Atlanta. Myrtle Beach is really stiffened nicely.
See those 4 back there? That turns into 6 on defense very quickly for the Mutiny.
They won't mind taking a point on the road here. That may not be the goal, but I think if they get a point, they're okay with it.
Long road trip, long weekend, take the point.
Garcia looking forward.
Good idea by Mitch.
Just a bit out of OJ's range. Once again, thanks to the Myrtle Beach FC fans at the Bull and Bush. Hopefully you guys are having a good time watching us. Appreciate you tuning in. Here's Obatola.
Thought Pedro was behind him, but he went a different direction.
Fidel with plenty of room. Defense delaying.
Picked off
and that's
quick.
why.
Transition again.
Joanning on Bridgewater. Tommy. Diwa. Good possession here. Trying to go up top for Joao. It's not a bad foul. A lot of upside if you get away with it. Not a lot of downside, giving them the free kick outside their 18. Minute number 36, John Nelson, Justin Hanover, 0-0 here at the park. Axel Jewell trying to quickly sneak out on this far side.
You see the 2 Wingate guys, Bridgewater and Jewell, over here on the near.
And the overlap here from Bridgewater. Garcia wins the header on that far side. Haven't mentioned yet the Silverbacks head man, Hassanir Silva, a former Atlanta captain and coach here with the Silverbacks, a legend, born in Rio, doing a lot of coaching recently in Kuwait for Al Jarrah in the first division. His assistant, some very well-known young men as well, ZZ Roberts, former player on AC Milan, Colorado Rapids, Olympiacos, and Anthony Takpa, the Liberian national team keeper, who has his son, Anthony, on this team. Transition again. Myrtle Beach in the box and just wide. Jewell just hit that wide.
De La Cueva with the good creation. And Jewell had the opportunity, just missed it wide to the right.
2 best opportunities so far coming from the 2 most dangerous men on the visitors. De La Cueva has been good so far. Beaten in the box. Trouble until Bangura knocks it away. Polez recovers, wins that tackle. And Pedro will win the goal kick.
And you saw that particular instance offensively with Jewell working his way, as you're watching, over to the far side of the box. Arambula coming on the overlap, working to the post and the back post. That won't be the last time we see that.
Starting to flex their muscles a bit, looking more dangerous are the visitors.
The one thing you can't afford if you're the Silverbacks is a lax pass when you don't have a whole lot of space, because we've seen there have been some passes that haven't had a lot of oomph behind them that have created turnovers on the flip side and opportunities in transition.
Atlanta trying to go up top to Obatola. That has not worked as of yet. And you see the shot from John Ander.
Why not? You're one-on-one. Go ahead and take it.
So far, they're the first 39 minutes. Atlanta's over the top through the middle, has not really done much. They may have to adjust and go with a little more width as they go forward now. Shot not on goal. Haven't seen Teepin really have to do much, at least in the 6-yard line yet.
Diwa of the mindset that time to go ahead and let it rip because Teepin had wandered out a little bit. You see Bridgewater lose connection with it here on the near side, and high res will do the throw.
And Garrett had to come in replacing Hayden Poole, who was injured, tried to give it a go, not able to. Garrett's done a nice job so far. Good job creating space. Again, trying to go up top, and a lot of white bodies there. De La Cueva, the 25-year-old from Charlotte, doing a nice job in the midfield. Here comes Jewell attacking. Axel gives it off. De La Cueva, Bridgewater on this left side. Red jerseys have come back. Little lack of communication.
Wow.
You see Abu Tami, Joao Joanning talking to each other. Now we may have a substitution coming in, and we do.
Yep.
So it looks like Lancena, I believe, is going off, and we'll get our first look at the big Russian. Played 5 years in Russia, 2 in their Premier League, and Georgi Kulov, the 27-year-old, who is a big teddy bear and also a beast.
Was it Lansana or was it Diwa?
I believe it was Lansana. We'll check that. Second corner, Conte comes out, and strong play from the keeper. Yes, it was Lansana.
All right.
So each team's now made 1 substitution. And we will have the foul as Keoki Hutchings, the Lander University graduate, who's about 90 miles away from here, from Macon originally. So Keoki, the 22-year-old, committing that foul. Dangerous position as we see the lefty and Mitch Garcia come over. He scored from a spot probably about 10 yards further up. He'll play it quick. One-on-one here. Joao puts it across the header. Obatola doesn't knock it down. Here's Tommy. Back to Mitch. Garcia's going to take a left-footed shot. And Teepin able to come out with that. And Bangura is upfield, but Injai is just able to whack it forward. Just saw Ross Henderson kick that one out. The Erskine College man, 3rd year with the team, is the captain. And here's Kulov. Good to see Georgie. Not able to play, had issues being allowed. Finally, he was cleared. Here's Pedro on the edge of the box. Slides it across to OJ. Long shots upstairs. Diwa. And the fan looks at it and says, nope, I'm not going to be rolling down the hill tonight.
Can't grab that one.
Here's Pedro. We had a pretty good Pedro a year ago in this franchise as well. Pedro Mendez, big-time goal scorer. Him and Jaime Chavez.
Junior Burgos.
And Junior. Myrtle Beach looking to get a late one if they can. Coming down that right side. Garcia working defensively. Shot across and another corner off the head of Georgie.
And when Georgie was talking about his time playing over in the Ukraine, in Russia, that is a different animal.
Yes. He was excited to be here.
Yeah.
You could see it in his voice. You really couldn't see this happening about, what, 25 years ago? 20 years ago?
Yep.
Take down that wall. 45th minute, 0-0.
Oh.
And that goes in, and Myrtle Beach is on the board. I believe that was Jewel who deflected that off the corner.
Let's see if it's a deflection. Let's see if it's an OG.
We'll have to take another look at that one, but I believe it hit off Axel. Certainly not a goal you want to give up here in the latter stages.
As you look in the box.
Well, we saw the celebration.
So Jewel was looking with everyone there. The 45th.
We'll take another look. Well, we'll see that at some point. I believe it was Jewel. We'll credit him for the moment. If it is, that's, I believe, Axel's third. Can't be too much time added here, partner.
Right.
Maybe 2 minutes would be my guess.
With the injuries here, 2, possibly
right.
3.
Mutiny really doing a good job in that back 4, or back 6, as you like to say. Injai comes storming upfield. Garcia on his left foot. Mitch with a flat ball, and that's whacked away by Curvin. Resendiz with some space. Kulov serves it in. Polaz has been quiet. Final moments of the first half. 1-0 Mutiny on top. Tommy. Kulov. Georgie's going to tee it up and put it wide. Take another look here if we could see it. Or I believe we a little bit too late again. We'll get it one of these times. We'll give you halftime highlights. We'll assess the first half. Have Fode Dalla up here, the architect of this Silverback squad.
And Teepan knows that was a miss hit. So let's see if the Silverbacks can do anything.
OJ's been bottled up back there. Jewel coming down this left side. Sly tackle from Georgie, well done.
Last 3 active seasons at Alanya Vladikavkaz.
Not a good ball by Joao.
Once we get
No
into
foul
the hole,
call. Here comes Bangura. Tries to chip it up. And
no one on the cross.
nothing doing.
Once again to the conversation we had about passing in space, or not having space to pass and making sure that there's something behind it.
Myrtle Beach's back line winning a lot of head balls. I'd say we're in the 3rd minute of added time right about now.
Getting right to the edge, I would say, with the injuries. That tall Mutiny back line just setting up a wall in the first 45.
Very impressive defensive display here in the first half. Resendez looks to put it across. Here's Abu.
Good flick idea.
Obatola flag goes up. The flag is up. Offsides on OJ. Much to the chagrin of a few thousand fans and 11 players in red jerseys. Can't say we have the exact angle right here, John.
There's your joust.
And that'll do it. So the first half is in the books. 1-0 Mutiny. Thoughts here in the first half, John? I'd say both teams had some moments. Myrtle Beach in the end scored the goal, maybe the stronger side.
And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to those little moments. And there was one there off the corner kick. Myrtle Beach taking advantage. They'd had those opportunities with the front line of Jewel.
And we'll take another look here at this goal.
All right.
Jewel in front.
Didn't look like it
I don't
touched
think
anybody.
it hit anybody.
Yeah.
Straight in off the corner. So unlucky. The Silverbacks unlucky. Myrtle Beach deserving, though, of a goal in the end. They had a couple of opportunities. We'll have the general manager, the architect, Fode Dollar, coming away in a moment. Back here at the park at the half, 1-0. Myrtle Beach on top in a well-played first half, but Myrtle Beach able to stick that one in the back of the net late. Here with the general manager and architect of the Atlanta Silverbacks, Fode Dollar. Fode, welcome. Appreciate you taking the time. You are the architect of this team. Talk about exactly how this thing came about. We had an NASL team. They folded. Within a few weeks, we were back alive and kicking.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited to have the Silverbacks again. When I heard the news, I was in Florida for the MLS Combine. When Boris called me that the NASL were pulling away, and I felt very, very sad, but at the same time, I was very happy to come over and take charge and put a team together that would be very, very fantastic for the people of Atlanta. The whole thing started when Boris called me and said, "Hey, the first team is not coming back, and then can you come in and take over the team?" I said, "Well, yeah, it's something I always want to do." So Then we came together, and I talked to my partners, Alvin and Iggy Maleka, and then first thing we put a plan together to bring UFA and my team together to bring a big youth club that has over 6,000 kids, and then to just get that 6,000 CC ticket holders adding to the existing fan base that we already have. I thought that would be a great way to start.
But look at the guys you brought over. You have Georgie from Russia. You have guys coming from Liberia. How in about a month span can you reach out to the ends of the world and put this thing together?
Well, that's something that, that's who I am. My background being a Scot. That's something that is very easy for me because I have been in contact with coaches all around the world, and also players, which I have very good relationship with my players. So that was the easy part of it for me because I have contact with those players on a daily basis. And then I talked to all these guys like George. These guys want to play at the next level. And I told them, look, Silverbacks is a great platform here. We have proven it before. The likes of Chris Clue, the Kwajo Poku. We can build you over here, expose you, and then MLS or European clubs can come in knocking our door. So that side was the easy part for my job, to bring players, because I have that platform already.
Did you see them gelling the way they have? 2-0-1 early on. Obviously, you didn't want to give up that goal, but this team's come together nicely.
Well, yeah, I'm very proud. The road trip, the Open Cup, unfortunately, and then our last 3 games on the road, it helps to bring the team together a lot. Because I've seen things that happen in the dressing room and on the field. I mean, the road trip helped us a whole lot, bring the guys together, because that's the hardest thing in the game, to bring different guys together and makes them believe in. And I will give credit to my coach. He does a very good job in making those guys to believe in one another, make them feel like brothers. So the team is really getting better and better. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a great future.
You mentioned the coach, Coach Silva. Everybody that we spoke to yesterday said how professional he was, how this may be the NPSL, but it's a professionally run organization. Credit to you and credit to the coach. Let's talk before we wrap up the vision going forward. Where do you see this franchise in the years to come?
Well, like you said, the first thing we have our ambition to do more, go forward. My mom always used to tell me, anything that does not grow is dead. So we always want to grow. The guys I have here, that's not where they want to be. But because they believe in what we want, our vision is to go to the next level. So we are very open. The fans want a professional team back here again. And Silverbacks have a great history. So we want to be able to take that, to bring back that professional soccer back to the ATL. And I think Silverbacks, we have a great platform already. And we, like you said, we have the players available already. And it's just a matter of time getting in touch with our investors, sponsor, and we are very open to talk to people, especially, again, the fans. We want to get the fan support.
Sure.
And then the fan, what word I want to use, to have the fan to have a share within the organization.
You're a sports agent, you had Kwajo Poku, many hats there. You're a coach as well, you hold the various licenses. Now you're a general manager. Has it been fun, or has it just been too much stress for you?
Well, it's been tough because I've been doing all the job, being a janitor, being the team manager, collecting, doing everything, I'm at every practice. Okay, I enjoy it because being a former pro myself, I've been on the field before, and I've been in the locker room, and I've been in administration. So it's fun because this is what this is what I signed up for. And being a player, you have a responsibility to overcome tough stuff. So I enjoy doing it. So I'm excited to see those guys, and I think we would do a whole lot better going forward.
And before anything else, I know you're a Silverback fan, I'm a Silverback fan, so we thank you for making this come about in the way that you have, because this cannot be done without you. So Fode Dollar, thank you very much. We appreciate him. We will be back. Fode, sports legend here in Atlanta. 1-0, Myrtle Beach on top at the break. We'll be back for the
Thank
second
you very
half.
much. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Silverbacks Park, the Bubble Boys on the pitch. Always fun here at the half at the park. 1-0, the Mutiny on top as we get ready for the second half. The goal credit to, well, we've spoken to people, John, and it could be Axel Jewell, it could be John Ander, it could be an own goal off Georgie. I don't really know, but let's take a look at the highlights. Pedro serves one in.
And you see the back line for Myrtle Beach just taking full advantage of their height, creating that wall, sometimes 4. If they have enough time, they drop another 2. Near misses, a lot of opportunities on just go ahead, wind up and fire. A couple of just missed posts, whether it was by John Ander or Jewell.
Yeah, you really see the ability and the danger of that duo. Here's one of the corners. Conte did a very nice job coming out. They had 3 or 4. Now here comes the goal. You see Georgie, number 5 in red. The ball's going to get crossed, and it almost goes straight in. Let's take a look.
You see the angle.
And I think it hit off Georgie's left eye.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
pretty
take
sure
another look.
if you see Kulov in red right there in front of Conte, I'm going to think that did.
All right.
Tough to tell, but that's my opinion right now, partner.
All right, so we'll go with your opinion right now, and that's where it is. So we'll
It's
call
either
it an
it's
OG.
either that or Axel Jewell.
So it's either Jewell scoring again or an OG, and that gives Myrtle Beach the 1-0 lead as we head to the second 45. But once again, let's take a look at the Silverbacks' chances here in the first half.
Johnny Resendez, very good first half. He serves that in. But again, that back line, you just mentioned it. They have stiffened to perfection. Nothing in the box at all for Atlanta.
And what they're doing in the midfield is they're creating, and that was the offside flag that went up to wipe that goal off the board. But what they're doing, the back line's either 4 or 6. Anything in the middle of the field, you're seeing 2, 3 guys in a triangle collapsing on the ball. So the Silverbacks aren't having the chance to cross over like we're used to seeing, to have the quick passes like we're used to seeing. They're almost choking the life out of the ball in the midfield when we're talking about Myrtle Beach defensively.
In terms of adjustments, I think Coach Silva, I'm not saying panic, but I think he's got to attack John with a little more width. I don't think you can keep trying to go over the top. Curvin and those guys defensively are really clean in the air. I think you've got to use more of your speed down the wings with the Diwas and the Johannings and try and spread that back line.
And what we've seen with Conte in transition, off of a possession and goal is that they want to do that long transition kick to work the width that you're talking about. But once again, Conte just trying to get back into the swing of things as a keeper. He hasn't found his rhythm yet. He hasn't found his yardages yet. He hasn't quite figured out how much angle he needs on the wedge and if he needs to pull out the 3-iron a little more to get it downfield. So, once again, that comes with time. But in a matchup here at Myrtle Beach where you're talking top of the ladder, you got to figure something out in the final 45.
Real good first half from the visitors. Myrtle Beach came in. I don't think a lot of pressure. I think the pressure's more in Atlanta, and I think Myrtle Beach has played relaxed, John. They've had the more dangerous opportunities. They were able to cash in on the one that they needed. Now I think they're even more relaxed. Now I think they can, I'm not saying park the bus, I'm not saying sit back, but the pressure is, there's no pressure on them right now.
You're playing with house money right now on the road. You put 4 on the board in Conyers against the Georgia Revs on Thursday. You had a day off to think about it. And for this match, really, it's going to give the winner, if it's a 3-point game for somebody, they're going to have the inside track to the title and that top seed in the conference come playoff time. So the mission, obviously, for the guys who wear in the red kits, get that equalizer on there just so you can stay in step so you don't lose sight of everybody going into the second half of the season.
So moments away from the second half, you see the visitors there warming up. Atlanta first coming onto the pitch right now, led by Mitch Garcia and Georgi Kulov. Each team has made one substitution. I think we're in for a good second half. I really do. I think both teams are the cream of the crop here, and this second half could potentially determine a lot in this race, as there are only, 6 more matches post this one.
The one thing, though, for the Silverbacks, the next 4 are at home. So they really can make a difference, and they can really put the pedal down to rack up all those home points so you can see where you are in games 9 and 10 when you know that those games have to be on the road.
And again, I believe top 4 make the postseason. So it's still early, but as of right now, you would think conventional wisdom says both of these teams are okay, considering the Revs only have 3 points through 5 matches. Tobacco Road now through 5 matches has 6 points, so certainly not a done deal by any stretch of the imagination, but both these teams in good shape to make the playoffs. And let's be honest, we see it in all sports. That's all you want to do. Just make the playoffs. Home field is not the be-all, end-all.
You want to be the 1
in.
and the 2 in a perfect world. You want the 1 and the 2 coming out of the conference so you
Sure.
can have those home games.
You obviously do, but you see what Myrtle Beach has done here in the first half.
Yep.
You saw what Myrtle Beach did on Thursday. You saw what the Silverbacks did in their first 3 on the road. It's just not the end of the world if you're away from home.
And in one of the tougher conferences and one of the tougher regions in the NPSL, there's going to be a lot of haymakers thrown here in the second half of the season. Doesn't matter what conference we're talking about. There's going to be a lot of movement, and there's going to be a lot of jousting and a lot of jockeying for position. There's going to be a lot of shifting and changing. But in these conferences that are smaller in size, each game is amplified that much more.
Absolutely. So second half underway, Silverbacks in red. The Mutiny in white, and we'll see the first foul of the second half. That goal coming in the 45th minute. I'll tell you, that's a crusher.
Yep.
I'm not saying the Silverbacks are going to cry over it, but that's a tough goal to concede when you play a fairly even first half and suddenly you go in down 1-0. Enjoy. A lot of room for Abrima. Each team one substitution. Lansana has left for Kulov. We saw the injury to Poole, and then the entrance of Bridgewater.
Attending to some business here, start of the second half. Best Buy Soccer, the exclusive sponsor of the Atlanta Silverbacks. Special thanks to Gesicki and DeVriend, Americas, for sponsoring the Silverbacks VIP section this season.
Can't beat a VIP section,
No.
that's for sure.
I've heard the food is good.
If you're Myrtle Beach right now, you have no problem sort of just mucking this thing up at midfield, uglying the game. Obatola coming back for it. Diwa. Here's one of the captains in Garcia. Pedro politicking for the hold, doesn't get it, throw in Atlanta.
There was some kit grabbing, but it looked like it was 50-50.
And that's going to be out off of Garcia. Disagreeing with that call.
You heard him all the way up here.
Mitch looks back and says, whole ball has to be out.
Dangerous idea.
Poles coming in hard on Cameron Burrows, the 21-year-old center back. Another Wingate graduate.
3 actives and 2 grads on the roster from Wingate. You also see NC Asheville. You've also got Coastal Carolina. You've got South Carolina Upstate.
Erskine College as well, and Pedro puts it in. Oh, look what we have here in the 48th minute as we're level at 1. It looked to be a harmless shot from the corner right outside the box, John. And I don't know if Teepin didn't get over quick enough, wasn't expecting a shot or what, but Poles now with his 3rd. And there's Georgie, the, dare I say, clown of the team, just lifting him up. So just like that, we get a late goal in the 45th, an early goal in the 48th, and we're level at 1.
And it doesn't matter what level of soccer it seems to be or where it is on the planet. That first 5 minutes, look out.
Referee comes charging over to break that one up.
First 5 minutes of the second half is huge. when it comes to
Abutami getting
momentum.
pushed out of the way by the captain and Garcia. Look at Mitch.
Pushing a lot of folks out of the way. All right. Here's your look. Garcia with the throw. The settle.
Obatola with a good header back. And Teepin cheating to his left, and he got burned. So Sean's been really good so far, very solid, but I just don't think he was expecting that shot.
He was leaning to the left, and the shot went through the legs of the defender. He didn't have enough time to get back to it, and that's how we end up tied at ones.
Let me ask you this. Do you want to be giving tonight? Do we want to give that goal to John Ander? He was right there. I couldn't see for sure. What are we going to do going forward? Let's just make an executive decision.
Well, you're the one who said own goal after going off of Georgie. You're not going back on your decision, are you?
Here's the problem.
All right, Your Honor.
I can't tell you 100%. We still didn't have the angle to see it as Myrtle Beach going forward. So I want to err on the side of Myrtle Beach. I don't want to give it own goal if I don't have to. That doesn't help anybody.
Okay.
So are you fine if I change that in our little conversation here?
Counselor, I will go with whatever argument you will present to the court here. Tell you what, why don't we do this? Let it be our social media experiment of the evening.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hashtag who scored?
Hashtag who scored.
Well, we know Pedro scored.
That's the Pedro goal.
There's that replay.
For the Myrtle Beach goal. From the Myrtle Beach side. Myrtle Beach fans, reach out on the Twitter machine at Atlanta Silverbacks FC.
As we have another player down. Maybe we can get Rich and the crew to tee that original goal up by Myrtle Beach if they can, so we can let everybody get another look. Because I don't want to call an own goal as you see Bangura,
right,
the veteran back there. So maybe if Rich and the guys and ladies here can tee that original goal up.
All
here
right,
we go.
Here we go. All right,
See,
Counselor, present your argument.
All right, Georgie's in red. The ball gets served in. You see number 10 there in Jewel.
Next to the goalie being pushed by Conte.
So we're looking at
with
Jewel.
the beard.
That's got to be Georgie. I hate to say it. I'll leave it up to the court, though.
All right, Counselor has presented his argument. Go to @ATL Silverbacks, whether you're a Mutiny fan or a Silverbacks fan, and present your opinion as to what you think. Is that an OG or is that a Myrtle Beach goal, and by whom? That is our Twitter question for the evening @ATL Silverbacks. Go ahead and chime in on the conversation for the remaining 35 minutes or so.
I'll go with whatever they say. I think it's either
Counselor,
the own
you've
goal
already
by
presented
Georgie
your argument.
or Axel.
So it's either Jewel or an OG @ATL Silverbacks. That's the Twitter exercise this evening on the Twitter machine, courtesy of lead counselor Justin Hanover.
It's about as close to being a lawyer as I'll get.
Now he needs the Law and Order sounder.
There's Pedro. Little bit too much there, dispossessed. Hutchings on that double. Ooh, and a touch foul called on Johnny. They play it quickly. Numbers down this left side. Garrett with the cross. Ooh, it looked like they had a better opportunity there than what actually came out in the end. I believe De La Cueva shrugging his shoulders as he runs back. I would assume right now the Bull and Bush is blowing up the text line.
Well, we can. Well, that's the Twitter line is what we want them to do.
Twitter line,
they don't have
text
your
line.
They don't have your cell phone, so they can't do the Twitter line.
I'm sure I know what they're thinking over there. Even though I think it's impossible for anybody to know for sure, but and that goes out. That'll be a Myrtle Beach throw on that left side.
Okay, just for background here. The Myrtle Beach Mutiny Twitter feed gave it as an OG off the John Ander corner before you presented your argument.
So you can't give John Ander the goal then,
No.
right?
Well,
I mean,
not if,
it did hit somebody. Is that fair to say?
That's the point that you're making.
I don't think that can be a John Ander goal. I think it hit somebody.
You're operating under the argument that it touched someone before it entered the net.
Well, you had a righty taking that kick, did you not? And OJ gets taken down about 35 yards out. Can we get Junior Burgos in the building?
Little run BMC action.
Good times from a year ago. Junior put one in from right around here on that other side against Edmonton. Put one in from around here against San Antonio in the NASL Goal of the Year. So what do we have? Mitch Garcia, the lefty, Abu Tommy. Bangura, here's Abu. Takes a crack. Bangura. And looking long. Resendez trying to get the angle. See the red jerseys trailing back.
5 back in a hurry. Good poke.
Now looking to counter the other way if they can. Here comes the overlap from Garcia. Pedro goes to the right. And ooh from the crowd on that chest.
You heard it all the way from over there.
Oh, that's a cheeky ball through. Can Gabriel get over? Here's Pedro, a little one-on-one opportunity. And Polez taken down, nothing doing according to the referee. Game opening up a bit here as the Mutiny look to counter. And we've got a Silverback down on the other side of the field, not being recognized. Now it is.
After the joust in the box with Pedro, that's an after effect.
physical match.
Abu Tami.
Abu tried to tow the ball forward. And I don't know if he got hit when he tried to sort of push forward or not. The Myrtle Beach players not happy, though, thinking he's not hurt. They wanted to play that possession. You can see them looking back, John, saying, get up.
Yeah, you can see a couple of come on mans. And
so there's Tommy trotting off. Looks to be all right. In minute number 58 here at Atlanta Silverbacks Park. Appreciate you joining us. John Nelson, Justin Hanover. That did not just hit off of him. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Tried to give it away and it hits off. The Silverbacks will not take this throw, though.
yikes.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
And Pedro will just wind it back. Wow.
And they're talking in midfield. That's pretty funny.
Last time you saw that would have been?
I don't even know. That's about as funny as when the guy in San Antonio threw the ball in last year and went 4 feet inside the pitch to throw it in without realizing it. Oh, good first turn. Resend has turned around, and again. Big cross, and Conte gets up. Ooh, not a good ball at all. Double team as Joao comes back well.
And you saw Georgie there almost doing the defensive move in hockey where the defender will take the guy's stick and lift it up off the ice to keep the guy from advancing the puck. Did the same thing with the leg there.
Yeah, just putting his body in front.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's strong.
Mm-hmm.
He may be the strongest player on this team. He goes in hard, he's strong, but everybody loves Georgie. Doesn't know much English, but he just holds guys on the shoulders during the little meetings at midfield, during training. He's the guy that keeps everybody loose. Garcia plays to feet of Pedro. Silverback goal scorer in Polez. Speaking of Fode Dalla, he really thinks Pedro Polez has a monster future. And if anybody knows talent, it is certainly Fode.
And in talking to Pedro this week, he wants to stay here,
yes,
north of the equator, to continue his football playing.
You know, it's funny. That was the recurring theme that I got. And
Yep.
we met with, I don't know, 11, 13, 15 guys.
Yeah, really?
And pretty much to a man, everybody, they wanted to go up a level. They wanted MLS, maybe Atlanta United, or what be it. But they wanted to stay in the United States.
Yep.
It was refreshing to hear. And here comes the Mutiny on the attack, 4-on-4. Left-footed cross, Garcia just able to tow it out in front. And Joa taken down, nothing called. Played all the way back to Teepin. Sean with one shutout in his first season as a member of the Mutiny. De La Cueva again with a strong play.
We've seen him in control of the middle of the pitch here in the second half, starting at about minute 50.
Oh, that's a good ball. Unlucky bounce.
Bridgewater defending there to keep it from turning into a scoring opportunity.
And Pedro trying to turn the defender around. And he looks up in frustration. See the confidence growing here. Try to insert his will.
Dangerous flick by Garcia to keep possession.
Abu plays to feet. Here's Joa. Cat-like quickness from Johanning. Abrima going with speed forward. Here comes Injai. And here comes Injai. Abrima's in the box. And he's going to win a corner out of that.
Yep.
Sneaky coming forward like that.
We've seen the Sarge on the back line, making sure that all of the teammates are well kept and taken care of, and he took care of the ball there on a surprising overlap.
We'll see a substitution before this corner for the visitors. So that'll be their second.
De La Cueva.
De La Cueva's going to exit. Quality 63 minutes for the Charlottean, if that's a word.
Queen City.
Fair enough. And we see another big body coming in. Low corner taken, whacked out. Handball. Oh, that's a bad handball. Wow. I think we're going to get our first card. And I guess not. I don't know of John being able to just throw your hand out unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo doing it in the box a couple of weeks ago.
And the full substitution, Toby Uzo now in, as De La Cueva is out in the 63rd. So 9 in, 13 out.
And Toby, a very quality player drafted by Orlando City with the 68th pick from Nigeria. Has some nagging injuries coming off the bench, but he's certainly the quality of a starter.
Trying to get
has
the
a
transition.
goal this season.
What are they calling there?
Injai down on the turf. We've seen a lot of guys.
A lot of hard
up.
falls tonight.
Nobody's giving an inch on those. That's the thing. Everybody's going hard, as you should, and it's just resulting in guys getting banged up for a moment.
Sarge took a lick. He's back on his feet. So let me get this straight. Joe Nasco's the sheriff. Conte is the deputy sheriff. Njai, Sarge Njai.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
The under-19 Gambian from the national team takes care of his mates back there. Here's Poles. Oh, and Pedro with the Meg. Now 3 white jerseys coming over.
Hutchings had to do a 360 to recover on for that one. Try it again.
Here comes Mitch. Garcia gets doubled. Keeps it in. Well done by Mitch.
Too much.
And a rough first touch there by Poles. And just knocked out of there by Jewell.
Presence of mind by Axel Jewell there. Just to clear it, calm everything down, get everything reset.
Silverbacks, I think, on the front foot. Look to be the more confident squad right now, pushing the pace. OJ getting knocked around there, and that'll be a Silverback throw. 1-1 if you're just joining us. Appreciate it on AtlantaSilverbacksFC.com. John Nelson, Justin Hanover. Still undecided on the goal in the 45th by the Mutiny. Either it's Axel Jewell or an own goal. Certainly not undecided is Pedro Poles. Knotted things up in the 48th. Five-game home stand for the boys in red, and
careful.
Things have been building all night. You see Obatola, one of the few married guys on this team, trying to voice his displeasure.
Big index finger right there in the middle of the screen.
There's the Sarge in there.
Yeah, Sarge is the one who's been using the index finger trying to...
Pulling Mutombo?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say... He's not wagging. It's more of an emphasis of... emphasis of don't do that. He's not waving them off. It's straight at.
Yes. Different meaning is you see Obatola talking to Brandon Adams. Ross Henderson, the captain.
And still the discussion.
We just got a card, did we not?
I haven't seen it.
And Abu just does the Mutombo finger wag. I believe he gave him a red, John.
Did you have Obatola a red?
I thought he waved it. I was watching, and he did. So, oh my, have things just changed? 68th minute. Gabriel Obatola, out of the blue, just gets a red card.
Some combination of dissent, magic words, and the scrum, perhaps?
Now I think philosophies change as the pendulum just tilts.
Yep.
So only 10 red jerseys, or 9 in a green, I should say.
There you go.
Minute number 69, so a full 22 plus. There's going to be at least 5 minutes of added time. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
So 27 minutes the Silverbacks need to hold that rope and I guess try and get out of here with that 1-1 draw.
Yep. So let's see what kind of pressure the Mutiny decide to put on and how the Silverbacks will defend with one less kit for the next 20 minutes.
And Pedro able to keep that in.
Good dig. He'll end up a goal kick.
See the formation if it changes at all. You see Bangura more in the midfield right now. So we start in the back. They brought Georgie in. Bangura looks to be one of the holding midfielders. So we're going to have 4 back and a couple deep with Diwa, I would assume, and Bangura. So it's almost like you like to call it the sort of 6-man backfield.
Oh, yeah. Set up that brick wall to make sure nothing gets past you. If you get a transition opportunity with the way that your offense is structured, take it. Otherwise, defend.
Oh, and Teepin getting a little risky over there.
And try to take opportunities like that one to see if somebody flinches.
Mutiny up a man on the attack.
I'm checking on your online poll to see what prevailing opinion is. If it's still the thought pattern at ATL Silverbacks of it being an own goal or a goal.
Looking to go quick. Flag does go up.
That'll wipe that off the books.
Referee just waves it off and says, play on, no harm, no foul. Here comes Polez. And that'll be an Atlanta throw. No. Almost boos coming from the crowd on that call. And here's Burrows. Swings it across to Fidel.
launch into the night. I think you're going to see a lot of action. If you're a red kit, you're going to try to keep the action as much mucked in the middle as possible for the next 20 minutes.
Isn't that funny how about 20 minutes ago I said the exact antithesis of
Uh-huh.
that. Myrtle Beach up a goal. They were going to try and muck it up. Fortunes have changed and then changed again. I think Atlanta's certainly equipped to play with 10 men.
Right.
You have some studs back there, and Garcia, who's played in the NASL, Georgie, who's played in the Russian Premier League.
Yep.
We see how good Injai is. Resendez has been extremely tough. I think
High
these
res.
guys can bunker in and be okay.
Yeah, and this is, I think, their first true test of that idea this season. Not that you want to have this and know that you can do it, but to have these situations and feel confident that you can execute
Right.
with a man down, especially should the situation happen again.
Remember, though, they did go up in the second minute 1-0 at WakeMed against Carolina.
Right.
And I can't say I watched that match, but I'm sure towards the latter stages it became a little bit of a bunker mentality. Ooh, not a good ball. Here comes Pedro. And the call eventually
Hutchings.
on Hutchings.
Hutchings with the launch in the back on Pedro.
I think Pedro had a little bit of a heavy touch and sort of got bailed out a bit. Injai being chased down by Uzo. What a big frame Uzo is.
Good
Wow.
settle by Toby.
Who is it he reminds me of? The striker from FC Edmonton last year. Was it Saini Nyasi? One of the guys, the big guys on Edmonton up front.
I was thinking more along the lines of Akin Fenwa at AFC Wimbledon. Beast mode.
Beast mode. A little bit Quadjo-like.
6'4", about 240. Big power forward.
Like to know what Uzo's listed at. It's another free kick from midfield.
Votes are coming in on the Justin Hanover.
And our
idea.
good friend Jason Longshore, thinking it's an own goal. Jason does some great work for Soccer in the Streets, a mainstay in the community. Oh, Tommy just can't put that one down. Resendez keeps possession.
And a push in the
Now,
back.
you've got to give a card at some point the other way, do you not? You just gave a red one way. We've seen a couple of fouls the other way.
Is that Toby
At
Uzo
some
on the
point-
far side? Yep.
Fairly dangerous spot, right around 35 yards out. Everybody runs away from it. Nobody's going to kick it. I think Abu's now heading back. Atlanta with 5 red jerseys going forward, 3 hanging back. Here's Tommy. Good ball from Abu. And Garcia
Mitch got
caught a
beat.
bit.
3 bodies collapsing around the ball. Good recovery there.
And Diwa. Diwa got hit hard. He wanted a foul on that.
And to answer your question on Toby Uzo,
Oh, you have measurements for me, partner?
yes, I do. 6'4", 210, according to Coastal Carolina.
Looks every bit the part of that. Oh, they've got a run going that way. And
Oh, bad touch, but Conte
Well
looks
read
like
by
he'll be
Conte.
first.
we get into minute number 77, tied at 1. We know for sure Pedro Polez knotted it up in the 48th. The visitors scored in the 45th to take that 1-0 lead. Here's the goal scorer. They double him every time they can.
If not more than that.
They didn't know a lot about the Silverbacks coming in. I think they figured out where the danger spots are. And there's another foul.
There's your foul. Quick set. No.
At some point, you have the same guy do it a couple of times. I would think a persistent infringement yellow's got to come out somewhere.
And here's where the Silverbacks will take their time. Send everyone forward, but at the same time, take it easy. Play the short set.
Kulov
Good
plays it in, and
entrance.
Pedro heads it over. Or I should say a bit wide.
You saw what the Silverbacks were doing there. Kind of laying back, the passes go in the middle and then in the back, and then when you see that opening, you see Pedro shoot through the two defenders, try to take advantage of those situations.
He's lurking.
Yep.
You could see here, even when he's off the ball, he's lurking, waiting for that opportunity. Hutchings. Kioki gives it up and overlaps. Haven't mentioned Osborne a lot.
He has been very quiet this year.
University of Charleston, West Virginia, with the keeper in Teepin. Teammates there as well. Lewis had the assist on the first goal in Conyers. And it looks like we're going to have a substitution for each side.
Yep.
I believe that's Avery Shepard for
Osborne
Atlanta.
off.
Here's the third.
Osborne off, RJ Bass in.
The super sub. RJ in his fourth year with this team. You talk about an athlete on the under-19 national team, John, for rugby. As that flag goes up. Scored in the 94th minute against Tobacco Road to pull that point out. 26-year-old. That's staying power when you're on a team here for 4 years.
Yep.
And the ball comes right up here
Supposed
and
to grab that
bounces
partner.
over. Now first look at Avery Shepard.
Yep.
Avery, a local product from Canton, born in Kennesaw. The 23-year-old went to Southern Polytech and Clayton State. See if you can make a little late magic.
Or late maintenance.
Oh, that's a giveaway. Here's
giveaway.
Pedro. Plays it across. Bangura tees
Outside
it up.
the foot.
Adnan loves playing in the midfield.
Yes,
he
he
told
does.
us such.
That he can almost see the match in 3 dimensions from the midfield. And he's jumped inside the television screen. He can see how everything is evolving around him with him as a midfielder.
And I understand it. When you play in the back, you're hesitant to go forward. You don't want to get caught. In the midfield, you don't have as much hesitation. And Georgie with a good turn.
Pull down there.
Ooh, nothing
by
called.
Uzo.
Transition here. Plays it across. And Conte came out. Little miscommunication in the back. Meth saying, just leave that for me. I could have picked it up.
Yeah. Big launch far post. Too much.
And Bass loses possession. Garcia on the throw. That's a good win, though, in the back by Burrows. Myrtle Beach solid in the air all around. Very impressed with, especially in the back, and we'll see another indication here.
4 bodies around Avery Shepard.
Well, that's what it's going to be up front.
Oh, yeah.
You certainly can't push people, so you hope you can win that 1-on-2, 1v2 type battle. And again, a bit far as Garcia will just usher that thing out.
And to your point, what you see Myrtle Beach doing, working the far wings, trying to get stuff working to far posts and crosses.
Not enough quality, though,
No.
on those crosses.
Nope.
I believe Johnny Resendez, 82 quality minutes. Speaking of quality, he'll exit. The Silverbacks make another substitution. And we'll see. Good to see Kamar in the match. Kamar Brown's been banged up. The Jamaican played in a CONCACAF Champions League with Waterhouse of Jamaica against DC United a year ago. It's a starting left back that's really been banged up, and he's going to get some minutes tonight.
So high res gives you a good 82.
He did. And he's really been a godsend with Kamar's injury. Johnny stepped up in a major way and solidified that position.
Cam Burrows looking for something, ends up going on the ground.
Little 1-2 attempt. Kamar comes over hard.
On RJ. Ends up going from side to side.
Sent in, danger! And that ball goes in, and Myrtle Beach takes the lead.
And Axel Jewell to the Ultras.
So the 84th minute, Myrtle Beach up a man. Able to go up a goal as well. Breakdown in the middle defensively on Atlanta's part. They were spread thin and nobody recovered and picked up Jewell.
Watch the entry. And header, far post.
Just playing the space, not a man there, and they paid for it. So 2-1, Myrtle Beach on top. Now in the 85th minute, Axel Jewell with at least one goal.
Prevailing opinion on the Justin Hanover Twitter poll seems to be OG.
I can't go against Jason Longshore. Good moves down this right side. Henderson. And Garcia now on the right side, able to clear that. Polez. Saw Teepin in the corner of his eye out, just slightly. Tried to pull a Carly Lloyd on that one.
A reminder, it wasn't just Longshore who said OG. Myrtle Beach side is saying OG as well.
Breakdown in the back has given the Mutiny the lead as Georgi Kulov moves forward now. So Atlanta changing their strategy. You see Kulov up top here. As they'll put him, I would assume, in the midfield. And play three in the back.
Because you've got 4 plus, what, maybe 3?
At least 5. We've had guys down. We've had a bunch of subs.
Okay, so let's say 9 minutes to make something happen here, down a goal.
Garcia to Shepard.
Too much.
And that'll be a corner. I believe the second of the night. Njai's coming up. Bangura's coming up. We'll see Garcia and Brown in the back, along with Diwa. And I believe we're going to have another substitution. And the big man, call him 6'6", 6'8", whatever, Anthony Tapka, is going to be coming in for Mitch Garcia. Not a better time than off a corner kick to bring the 6'8", 21-year-old in. Son of the goalkeeper and coach.
I thought he was only 6'6".
Depends who you ask. Near post, headed away. Shepard on it, plays it back, and that'll result in the goal kick.
Looking for another hand raised in the box on a foul on Polaz, but it didn't happen.
You see Teepin certainly milking it here.
Uh-huh. See if Hutchings can catch up to it. No.
Final minutes. 2-1 Mutiny on top here at Silverbacks Park. Atlanta's next game next Friday against FC Carolina Discoveries right here at 7:30. And next Friday, the road trip continues for Myrtle Beach. She'll be at Tobacco Road. Well in by Brown. Tommy going up top. Topka.
Foul in the mid.
And Abu fired up. And we do get a yellow.
Henderson with a yellow. There's your look. Step one, and right there.
Good call. Clumsy.
Wouldn't let him do the quick set, so he's going to have to do it again.
Defensive line right on the 18. Brown with that left foot puts it in. Poles, Topka. And that should result in a corner, and it does.
A lot of pinball action going on in there.
Here comes Abu.
Silverbacks had a second chance.
That was a rifle
Yep.
by Topka. Anthony really, I don't know if it was on frame. I can't tell from our angle, but if it was, that saved a goal, that block.
Tallest
Abu.
kid, 41. That's Topka.
Drives it
Flick.
low. And there's Georgie. '90th minute. 2-1 on the strength of an Axel Jewell header in the 84th.
Plenty of red kits on the grab there. Avery chases down Teep, and he'll finally pick it up. Let's see what Conte does here. Flat
Miss
ball.
kick. Here comes Georgie.
Not enough.
That's going to be danger.
Here's
Here's trouble. Toby has a trailer, and he gives it to him. Trouble for Atlanta. The toe poke, and well saved by Conte on that near post. We are officially in added time. My guess is at least 4.
Yeah.
Atlanta down to 10 men. The red card, Obatola came in, studs up, apparently.
Save to send it down.
That came in the 68th minute. And then Jewell the go-ahead in the 84th. See if Atlanta can try and get a point out of this one. Abu. I guess in the NPSL they don't put up the sign. They don't have the sign here to tell us how much. Estimating around 4 or 5.
Yeah, probably 90 seconds in or so. As I say, cheat your space. There you go.
Good first touch by Abrima. Here
Myrtle
comes
Beach
Poles.
more than happy to just play Pong right now.
Georgie a little over ambitious from about 35. Shepard. Avery getting doubled, plays it back. Diwa. Peugeot. Teepin's going to run to that corner as he did before.
Until he's met by someone 6'6" or 6'8".
Don't forget Best Buy Soccer, the exclusive sponsor of your Atlanta Silverbacks. It's a good win in the back as Myrtle Beach had a runner going.
Launch it again.
Little kickball going on right now for the visitors, trying to just see this 2-1 game through.
Swing and a miss.
Final stages. The man in the middle, Brandon Adams, will have the final whistle in another minute or two. That is onside.
Toby Uzo blocked.
Here's Diwa. And Douglas.
Oh.
He can do that one-on-one against anybody.
But not 2-on-1.
Georgie plays it quick. Space on this right side. John Ander chasing. Takpa.
Looking to settle. Went in with studs.
We're going to have a foul
on Takpa. Fidel was in there with Tucker.
And it looks like that's it.
That'll do.
That's it. So the referee blows the final whistle. Myrtle Beach goes on the road now, and in 2 matches, John, they pick up 6 points in a hard-fought game tonight with 2 teams that are going to see each other at least one more time. Quality game, 3 points, though, to the victor.
6-point weekend for Myrtle Beach. Couldn't come on a better time. They go to 10 points at the top of the ladder. 2 teams now at 7, including the Silverbacks. Tobacco Road with their win today into 4th place with 6. Silverbacks with 4 games at home now after this in the next couple of weeks. They're going to have to put some 3-pointers on the board to try to get the 1 and the 2 here in the conference by the end of game 10.
The Mutiny, very impressive on the road, did what they needed to do. They squeak out with a 2-1 win. We'll come back with highlights. We'll wrap this baby up. And the Silverbacks, as John said, now drop to 2nd place here in the NPSL. We'll be right back and have some highlights. And welcome back here to Silverbacks Park. A 2-1 Myrtle Beach win. John, I'll tell you, good signs, though, for Atlanta. They weren't able to pull this out. 2-0-1 to start the season. Not a bad loss. They lost to a good team.
And Myrtle Beach certainly has the pedigree. The Mutiny have been conference champions in the past, coming up another conference championship in 2015 as they get ready for the 2016 season. Now 3-0-1 out of the blocks. A 6-point weekend, knocking off the Georgia Revs and Conyers on Thursday, putting 4 on the board. Winning here tonight 2-1. So when you're looking at goal difference, which could come into play after Game 10 right now, after 2 games plus 5, they're really making a strong statement here 4 games in.
They are, but again, there's still 6 games remaining.
Right.
You still just want to make the playoffs. Top 4 out of the 6 make it. Just get in. Get into the dance. We know that from basketball, from any sport. Just get in and you're okay. And they did a heck of a job here on the road in doing so. Up a man. We'll take a look at the highlights in a minute. The first goal, not sure, probably an own goal. Pedro Poles, the man of the match. Hopefully we'll get Pedro up here in a couple of minutes along with the coach Silva to get their reaction. But in the end, it's okay. It's all right. If you're a Silverbacks, you see the guys on the field. I don't think they're too upset. Obatola with the red card, they're down a man. I think it's okay in the end.
Well, you think after the 68th minute when Obatola went studs up, got the red, and had to go, you saw what the Silverbacks were able to do defensively over a 20-minute period. They retreated 4 back heavy, would drop 6 fairly comfortably, defended very well, tried to take those transition opportunities that were available. So you saw signs that this particular squad, even though they might be down, they're not going to just stop if they're a man down, if they're a goal down. They're going to continue to press. So the rest of the teams here in the conference are going to have to continue to look at these Silverbacks tapes and Silverbacks games and see what they're going to have to deal with guys like Pedro Poles and a lot of the other interchangeable parts that Coach Silva has that we've seen on display in these first 4 games.
And let's take a look at the highlights. That'll sort of show some of the picture here from what took place. And in a nice night here at the park, what turned out to be beautiful. 1-0. Pedro with that near post shot, his 3rd goal of the season. And a guy has a knack to score goals. We see it, and we saw it right there.
Teepin got caught cheating to the left a little bit. And here's the game decider. If I'm not mistaken, let's see. Take a swing. Conte with the save. Okay, Conte in his first game back. Stuff to look at for him. Good, optimistic things to look at for a goal. Once again, chances in transition.
Njai going forward.
And
yeah,
when you got the Sarge working forward, that was a pleasant surprise.
Then Georgie sends it in, the big fella, or that wasn't Takpa yet. But Teepin did a nice job. Saved that 1 goal I think he probably would have wanted back, but he did a nice job as the commander-in-chief back there.
And you see what's going on here with all of the action. The jousting on the back lines, both squads very, very solid on those defensive 4s. And the rough play was they let it go. I mean, you had a lot of instances, I could probably count 5, maybe a half a dozen, where you had some very, very tough jousts. And it came out 50-50, and hopefully both players on both sides in all of these jousts going up healthy. But they lost Poole. Had to check him out early on, right. So that could be an injury that the Mutiny are going to have to be paying attention to as they go forward, the injury to Hayden Poole.
And here comes, I believe, the goal across from the left side. You see, they just leave him alone. Georgie, we had red jerseys back. They just didn't get on the man. So that wasn't even a byproduct of being down a man, in my opinion.
Right.
That was just a mistake. They got lulled to sleep.
Flat-footed.
Axel Jewell, who's a goal scorer, made them pay in the end.
And here's the opportunities late. And Pedro sends that one in. They wanted a card there for contact in the box, and they didn't get it. And once again, you get those 50-50 challenges. Silverbacks down a man late, and they're trying to get things done. There's the last chance saloon, I want to say, for the Silverbacks into the box, and the big launch there by Tukpa.
I'll tell you, I think that was ticketed to tie this match up if that goes in.
There's Uzo trying to work forward. This could have made it 3, but a good save there by Conte. And once again, you've seen good things from the Silverbacks. Down a man, down a goal. A lot of good building blocks going forward as they head to the other 4 games that they have here on this homestand over the next couple of weeks.
Only positive thoughts, in my opinion. You lost the match. You were going to lose at some point. It's not the end of the world. You came home. You had to feel things out. You lost to a good team. You were down a man from the 68th. I think Coach Silva knows it's a good world. We've got building blocks to work on. We're still in good shape in second. I think it's a positive result despite it being a loss, which obviously leaves a bitter taste.
So you're looking at it from the standpoint of there's going to be adversity sooner or later. Go ahead and face it early on so that way you know how your team's going to respond in these situations.
Exactly. I think we're going to try an effort to get a player up here. Not sure if that'll happen. We'll take a quick break here. We'll have Rich take a quick break. John and I will be back. We'll wrap this up in its entirety in the end. We'll try and get a player up here for you, and we'll be back. Myrtle Beach with the 2-1 win as they remain undefeated at 3-0-1 and now at 10 points.
Good?
Back at Silverbacks Park, Myrtle Beach pulling out the 2-1 win in the end. As we wrap this up here with Adnan Bangura. And Adnan, your thoughts in the end? I think you guys played well. I don't think you should have your heads down after this.
Well, it's part of the game. It was one down. And, for me, I can see we have a better team. It's just that we don't create better chances. But, at the end of the day, we learn from this and move on to the next one.
Talk about the growing pains. You guys have been together only, 2.5 months now. Guys from all over the world. Do you like the way it's gelling and clicking?
Oh, yes. At first, it was kind of different atmosphere, but as time goes on, we pick it up. We understand that it's all about oneness, and I guess we're getting there.
Let's talk about the goals. The first one, was it an own goal? Did they hit it? What exactly happened?
It was an own goal. It was an own goal. It was a corner kick. It was a mistake by our defender. George, he just came in, and he just hit him in his feet, and he get in there.
And then Pedro scored the goal. You guys are starting to get used to this a little bit. He's becoming the leader of this team, scoring the big goals.
Yes, sir. That's what he's here for. That's why we signed him. He's a very good player. He's a player that penetrates, and we're getting there, sir.
And then defensively on that second goal, the game winner for them, just a missed assignment. It seemed like nobody marked up on Jewel.
It was the same defensive blunder. It was a defensive blunder by Johnny, and George getting counter, and the guy was open, and he attacked us.
So overall, final thoughts. You're frustrated, but yet do you see how things are getting good?
Oh, yes. We're getting there. It's just one game, We've been winning 2 games. We tie 1. And we're going to learn from this, and we'll move on to the next one.
Very good. And then thank you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much,
appreciate
sir.
You played midfield. You played in the back. You did a little bit of everything.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm here for.
So the Silverbacks fall short 2-1. We'll wrap things up. John will be back, and we'll have final thoughts here from the park in a moment.
All right. Thank you, fans, for coming out. I appreciate that.
Wrapping things up here at the park, 2-1 Mutiny prevail in the end. We were going to wrap it up with John and myself, but we got somebody better here. Mitch Garcia, the veteran, the old man here in the back line. You lost 2-1. It was a missed assignment and an own goal. You can't feel horrible about it, can you?
No, I mean, I feel like, we played well. We outpossessed them. I mean, it was, it's unfortunate with, with the red, but, sometimes that's football. Sometimes you come out on the, the losing end, but, we'll rebound and come back stronger.
Deserve it, red on Gabriel. Foot was up.
I mean, it could have went both ways, but personally, everybody on the team needs to keep it cool, and we can't react. We need to relax, and I feel like it just kind of got to him a little bit, but you know what? He's fine. He'll come back and he'll be stronger.
You've been around this team. You've been around for years, around the city and everything. Crowd came out, did a nice job. It's got to be a good feeling for the way the team's gelling together. You're in a good spot, still second in the table. You've got crowd support, 4 more games at home. I would think positive feelings going forward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can get a lot of points, in 4 games, and that'll put us right back at the top of the table. As far as the fan support, we're definitely grateful. I mean, the transition from NASL to PSL was something very, very serious, I'm sure. And the fans still come out and support us, so that's a big deal for us.
And your experience outside of this game, you've played in Serbia and Chile and I believe Australia. You've been all over. You just love coming back home?
Yeah, I mean, there's no more comfort than, when you step on your home turf and you have people surrounding you that you love and that are there to support you. It's a great feeling.
Mitch, congratulations.
Thank you.
One
Appreciate
of the captains on this team. Thank you for doing the work out here. We appreciate it. And you guys put on a show against a good team. They're a good team. Give them credit.
Yeah, they were a good team. They played well. They played hard.
Yeah. So we'll see them again. Here's Mitch Garcia, the captain. The Silverbacks fall 2-1. We'll see you, Mitch. We'll see you again on Friday night. Have a great night, everybody.